Hello, my name is Ben.
And my name is Josh.
And welcome back to FPL Graduates. It's been too long, hasn't it? Finally, the Premier League is back.
Yeah, it is indeed. A long 2 weeks it was, but we're finally back in action for the last big, strong, 9 weeks of games coming up. But we've got a really nice guest on today, a really good FPL player, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. FPL Eire is here. Welcome to FPL Fridays. How are you doing?
I'm good, lads. How are you keeping?
Not too bad. Not too bad. We're just looking forward to seeing a bit of, Premier League action back on our screens. Now, we're getting to a bit of guest background. Now, for some reason, we've managed to find another Man United fan. So, do you want to tell us a bit of insight as to why you're a Man United fan and your reasonings behind supporting the club?
Yeah. So basically, two older brothers and my father just all their life now they've been supporting United. So I suppose I was born into sport of them. I had no other choice. It was either that or kind of get out of the house. But yeah. So that's the main reason. Yeah.
Family things. I mean, You can understand it, right? If you're not a United fan, you're probably in a bit of trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll move on. We'll talk about the best Man United assets to have. We do this every week with the guest's favourite team. Which ones would you cherry pick as sort of the best ones to have right now?
Yeah, it's a bit. I suppose it's these kind of years. You know yourself. It's actually good that there's actually a United player you can pick. I know the last year was good for United picks with Greenwood, Bruno, Rashford. The end of the season they were picking up form. But before that, no, you had to kind of put your ties elsewhere. You had to go for Liverpool assets, Man City assets, Chelsea assets. Just United were atrocious. But this year now, obviously Bruno, he should be probably your first name on your team sheet. And after Bruno, then I'll probably go Luke Shaw. Just he's picking up bonus points nearly every week, keeping clean sheets, attacking returns, assists, goals. He's kind of an all-round package there. But only two really. If you want to go a bit differential, then you can kind of go Cavani. But I suppose Martial's injured at the moment, but Cavani's kind of minutes they're a bit iffy. So, but yeah, Bruno and Shaw for them too, definitely.
Yeah, that's interesting. Would you consider like a Maguire in there? He's been decent form for England. Do you think he's going to maybe pick up a couple of goals towards the end of the season?
I suppose that. Yeah. The only thing about Maguire, he might get the odd goal or that, but his kind of ceiling would be around 6 points per game. Yeah. And you've kind of Shaw, he might be touching a 9 point or 12 points. That's nearly double, But he's all right. But there's for the same kind of price range, which with Shaw, you'd be kind of leaning towards Shaw with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We do this every week. It seems so long ago, but we will review Game Week 29 quickly. I'll go into mine first. This is what mine looks like. 61 points for the week. Took a -8 overall. Areola in goal, a bit disappointing. As with Dallas, Target and Cresswell, all pretty disappointing for me. Dunk, 6-pointer. He's one of the transfers I brought in. Can't complain about that. He did his job. Now, the midfield was amazing. I brought in Lucas and Lingard for the -8. Lingard, 12 points in about, 20 minutes. Lovely stuff. Trossard, 14 points. I mean, for a 2-week punt, can't ask for much more than the 22 points, 24 points he got. Lucas Moura, another one which I brought in, and 9 points. Can't complain about that. He's Tottenham's best performing player at the moment. And then Rafinha with the 8-pointer. I mean, I expected that. And then the Magic captaincy failed, facepalm. But, he could have scored, got taken off, and came with a 7-pointer. So considering my captain blanked and it was a blank game week, I'll definitely take the 61 points.
You can't complain with that now, really, no.
Yeah, it was a good week for you. I think we spoke quite a lot about that, to be fair, with the Cresswell target situation, but it's a similar story for me. I got 47 points this week. I had, obviously, El Mohammadi didn't play, but we sort of knew that he had his run towards the end, and Matty Cash was coming back. Emi Martinez with only the 1-pointer. Cresswell, obviously 0 because they conceded 3 goals. White clean sheet, which was nice. The Leeds boys done the business for me with Rafinha and Bamford, 8 and 11. Malpai with the little 8-pointer as well was good. Bale didn't play, which was hugely disappointing. Whether he comes back into the team will be interesting to see, because obviously Spurs don't really have anything else other than the Carabao Cup to play. Aubameyang captain again was a letdown. Him out on the left was just not nice to see. He just doesn't really get any sort of involvement in the game, and he was probably Arsenal's worst player against West Ham. But overall, I'd probably take it, given it was a blank game week. Only took a -4, so I was pretty happy with that overall.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, another captain blank, but small green arrow. So I guess we can't complain too much. Now we'll move on and look at your team here. How did you do this week?
Yeah, so if you scroll up there, I'll just double check what I actually finished on.
I think you have to scroll up on your.
Oh, sorry, myself.
Yeah.
2 seconds, sorry. Right, so you can see that, lads, yeah?
Yeah, 54.
Yeah, so 54 points. I took a -4. I brought in, obviously, Cresswell for Cancelo. Yeah, zero points on that. The back line was a bit of a disaster. Just Ben White 6 points helped me a lot there now, really, with their clean sheet. Scrolling down, then it was for a blank week. I can't really complain, but it was just annoying seeing Bale on the bench for the whole game. I knew going into the game week, Son wasn't going to play, but I just stuck him in there anyway. Then going on to the positives, Lingard 12 points, a goal and assist in 12 minutes. You know, it was just brilliant watching it. I was kind of annoyed. It was between Lingard, Rafinha, and Kane. For the captaincy, I stuck it on Kane, but swings and roundabouts. Really, it was only a 4-point swing really between Kane and Lingard, and then obviously Bamford then 11 points, but 54 points with a -4 hit. I think it was a small green arrow from 48k to 46k, so can't really complain. At the end of the day, it was a green arrow.
Yeah, very good week.
Another guest with a higher rank than us. I mean, we definitely both have had a bit of a stinker season, haven't we? So we'll just move on till next season, right?
In it we go again.
Okay, so it is time. It's come around quickly. We're absolutely rattled through. So I think we're just racing through to get to this part of the show, to be honest.
I just forgot to mention it at all. That the one thing I was chatting to you the last 2 weeks was just watching Ireland play. I just didn't want to mention it at all at the start. It was just shocking watching them play against Qatar, Luxembourg, losing.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's going so quick. I did not want to bring that up at all. But.
Yeah, I don't blame you, to be honest. But yeah, it is time for the FPL trivia quiz. Josh, what are the rules of the game?
Yeah, so you'll have 60 seconds to answer as many questions as we can get through about Man United and FPL themed questions. There'll be a bit of both in there. The chat will play along as well. And yeah, the highest score we've had so far, I think, is the FPL Don with 7, and the lowest score is 0.5. So you can't really get much worse than that. So no pressure.
Yeah. Right. So chat, as Josh said, make sure you get involved if you think you know the answer. 60 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, 1. Who is the top scorer in the Premier League for Manchester United this season?
Bruno.
Correct. How many goals does Bruno Fernandes have in the Premier League this season?
11.
16. How many clean sheets do Manchester United have in the Premier League so far this season?
9.
12. Out of Manchester United's defence, which player has the most FPL points this season?
Oh, it could be Wan-Bissaka. He might have snuck in.
Correct. Yeah. How many times have Man United lost in the Premier League this season?
5, I'd say.
4. Which player has received the most yellow cards for Manchester United this season?
We'll go Maguire.
Correct. Who has more points on FPL this season? Martial or McTominay?
Martial will go.
McTominay. Other than Bruno, who is the most owned United asset on FPL?
Shaw.
Wan-Bissaka. Who has played the most minutes for Manchester United this season in the Prem?
Maguire.
Correct. What is Martial's current price on FPL?
9.4.
8.6. Is that time, Josh?
That is time indeed. He got a 4, which I think is quite respectable.
Jesus.
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Not great.
You know?
I've seen a lot worse, that's for sure.
I've seen a lot worse. You can't. What you did is you were very consistent. You got a couple right, and you kept the points flowing. You know. So
Wan-Bissaka and Shaw messed me up there. You nearly got me. I was talking about Shaw earlier on. He was in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the most owned United asset after Bruno. He's at like 16% now.
Shaw's maybe 10 or 11 is there? I don't know.
Shaw's at 14, so it's very close between the two. It was a challenging question, I'd say, because
might sneak in a half point maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Should we move on to the fixture rundown?
Yeah, so we're going to look ahead at the Game Week 30 fixtures. A lot of good fixtures this week. I think it's been one of the best weeks that we've had in quite a while. Which fixture would you target if you were to pick one as like the best fixture this week?
It's annoying enough now. The one I would pick would be Chelsea and West Brom, but I actually don't own any Chelsea players at the moment. You know yourselves on Twitter, there's this Alonso bubble popping about. Everyone on Twitter is mentioning, but as you said, the fixtures this week, I've got Matt Target in defence, Shaw and Cresswell. So there's potentially good fixtures for them as well, and there's obviously the potential of a clean sheet in those games for them. So it's not worth the -4 to get in a Chelsea asset. I know Rudiger and Aspilicueta, they've great fixtures now for the next 4 or 5, but it's not worth a -4. Go back to your question. Sorry for going off on a tangent. The Chelsea game definitely, just for their defensive assets anyhow.
Yeah, a lot of people have been speaking about that, like you mentioned on Twitter. It feels like everyone and their nan's dog's gone and brought in Marcus Alonso this week. Yeah. It's crazy.
He's only on like 4% as well or something. I've seen that.
If you spend too much time on Twitter, you'd think the whole world has it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He's not even in the top 10 most brought in assets this week either.
Yeah,
really.
Alonso. So
I think crazy. I was on Twitter there after work today. If you refresh the page every few seconds, it's just a new post on Alonso. It's a new trade saying this is what you need to get or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. So Ben, what would you go for your fixture of the week?
I'd have to agree and say Chelsea West Brom is a very nice fixture to look at from a defensive point of view. Another fixture that I'd probably look to target is maybe that Newcastle Tottenham fixture. I kind of like the fact that Spurs looked so good against Aston Villa before the international break, and I think they can build on that. They've had Son being rested, a lot of players in their team rested for the international break. They've got Serge Aurier coming back in instead of Matt Doherty, and I think that's going to help them a lot going forwards. And I was considering Aurier as almost like a punt for the next sort of couple of weeks with their double coming up. So I think the Tottenham boys, I think you do need to target, especially bearing in mind the fixtures that they have got coming up. They've got that double in 32, haven't they? So I think that's the one where I'd look to target a bit more than other teams. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I have to agree with both of your picks. They're both very good games. Like I mentioned, there's loads of good fixtures this week. It's almost like you can pick any and you can find a positive in any. For me, I'm going for the Leeds boys against Sheffield United. Since Wilder's left, Sheffield United, I spoke about this multiple times, just don't look good. They seem like they concede more goals. I think they've conceded more goals in one game than it ever did under Wilder since he was in charge. So yeah, I go for them. I've got a triple Leeds myself. I've got Bamford, Rafinha. I think Bamford might take the armband for me this week. And also Struijk. Whether Struijk plays or not is debatable, but I've got a bench cover on there if he doesn't. So more than happy with that. I think there's points everywhere in that Leeds teams. The likes of Dallas, the likes of obviously Bamford and Rafinha, as I mentioned, all really good picks this week. And I see a lot of people captaining them as well. So yeah, good little fixture.
Yeah, I like all three fixtures, to be honest with you. We'll move on and look at the must-have assets. Scrolling along the bottom of the screen is the most transferred in players this week, based on the highest being Lingard currently, which is interesting. Who'd we say then is a must-have asset for FPL this week?
This week, you can't look anywhere else apart from Kane, really. If you don't have him, you have to bring him in this week. Along with that, then Chelsea defender. If you're on a wild card, if you're planning on playing your wild card next week, Alonso, it'd be a good punt now. But just down the line, you know, I think he'll be fine for starting tomorrow now. But apart from that, now he's going to be a rotation risk with Chilwell. So looking at if you have the funds, I think he's 5.7 going for Aspilicueta 5.8. I think he rose last night today. I'm not sure. And then if you don't, you can look at Rudiger for 4.7.
Yeah, I have to agree. If you don't have Harry Kane by now, I'm not sure what you're doing, to be honest, because he's been on fire. He's Spurs have got great fixtures coming up towards the end of the season. Obviously, the double as well in 32, so it'll be mind blowing. I am very surprised to see Lingard as the most brought in asset, considering West Ham's fixtures after Wolves. They aren't necessarily the best fixtures, so that is quite surprising. Same with Iheanacho when he's got Man City this week. But it's interesting. I think a lot of people playing the wild card like you, Ben, aren't they? So maybe that sort of skews the figures. Maybe
I think all the people who have their wild cards left. I think half of them will be playing it this week and half of them next week for the fixture swing. But yeah, I was looking at Lingard, had him in my wild card for a while, no longer in there. So yeah, I was looking at the fixtures. I'm not convinced that he'll get as many attacking returns as he has done before. But I don't know. I hope to be proven wrong, because you'd love an informed Jesse Lingard for the Euros. So, yeah, I think in terms of must-haves for this week, Chelsea defender all over. I think the safest option to go for is probably someone like Christensen or Azpilicueta. I've got Rudiger in at the moment, but I'm not sure if he's going to play, because obviously Thiago Silva could be back, and he played a lot of minutes over the international break. So we'll see about that. But there's definitely some key players that you need to get in. And we'll have to see who kind of gets into form, because there's always one team that starts getting into form at this time of the season and starts getting on a roll. And I think you need to jump on that team early. Could be Liverpool with Jota. Could be Chelsea on that roll. You know, one of the front men like Havertz or Ziyech could get on a good run of form. So it's all about just jumping on them early and trying to see if we can, get in there before the masses.
Yeah, there's not many game weeks left, so yeah.
Exactly. It's interesting what you say with Rudiger Christensen, because I brought in Christensen, I think, Thursday, like the night after the qualifiers finished. And then I was like, oh dear, Thiago Silva's coming back. So that's just going to be playing mind games now, because I feel like Christensen's probably the better centre-back out of the two, with Rudiger and him. But I feel like Tuchel has seemed to quite like Rudiger. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see who plays.
Both of them have come in and played pretty much all the games. I think Rudiger's missed one game. And if you look at it, when Thiago Silva was back in, he did shift Azpilicueta out to the right, didn't he? Yeah. And he did play very well there. So in that regard, I'm not as concerned. Hopefully they can all play and everyone will be happy with it, and there'll be no concerns. But there's always that risk, isn't there?
Yeah, Tuchel Tombola is not a good game to be playing these days.
Yeah.
Just on that point there, it's mad to see the fall from grace Zuma's had just at the start of the season. You know, I remember having him in my team. He was getting 1, 2, 3 goals across 4 or 5 weeks, and not a tap said about him now. Like,
yeah, different manager. He's just absolutely booted him out.
Yeah.
Right, we will now move on to Game Week 30 captain picks and team reveals. So this segment of the show, we will show you what we're set up with for our team this week. Josh, I see you have your team ready. Do you want to show it?
Yeah, let's go for it. We'll kick off with me. I made one transfer this week, as I mentioned. I took El Mohammadi out. Obviously, he's not featuring anymore with Matty Cash back. Brought in Christensen. I don't really plan on taking a -4. There's probably areas where I could, but we'll get onto that in a second. So Emmy starts in goal for me. Good fixture against Fulham. Fulham not the best team going forward, so hoping for a clean sheet there. Cresswell against Wolves. Again, Wolves not the best team going forward, so again, attack and returns maybe as well against them. Luke Shaw has been by far one of my favourite players this season to own. Same with Cresswell, to be honest. Brighton at home, hoping for a clean sheet and maybe some attack and returns. Before the international break, he looked like one of the best players going forward for United, so hopefully he can continue that. Struijk, Sheffield United at home, whether he plays or not is questionable. It's all whether Cooper can return or not, I think. I saw someone tweet about the Leeds team earlier, and that was the main talking point. It'll be either like Koch, Cooper or Struijk, one of those three. So let's hope it's Struijk. Christensen, as I mentioned, brought him in this week. You have to have a Chelsea defender at this stage. I think it would be silly not to, if not 2, if you're on like a wild card. So yeah, Christensen's in. Kept Bale for now. I'm hoping he just returns to the team because I feel like he's a better asset than Heung-min Son if he's playing with Son and Kane. So let's hope he's in the team. Aubameyang, I'm mainly keeping for the next 2 fixtures of Sheffield United and Fulham. If he gets anything against Liverpool, happy days, but I'm not really expecting much. Rafinha, Sheffield United at home, I mentioned him earlier. Great pick. A lot of people captaining him. But I'm just sort of fancying Bamford more for the armband. I looked at their stats, and I think Rafinha's only had maybe 2 or 3 double-digit returns, whereas Bamford's had like 5 or 6. So I feel like Bamford's a bit more explosive in that regard. Bruno is a great captain choice this week. Mike Dean's the ref, so you know what's going to happen in that game. Penalty galore. Hopefully United can get a win there as well. And then Harry Kane's on the vice. It would be silly not to. Benching Gundogan and obviously the Brighton boys left over from the blank game week.
Yeah, what do we make of that for a team then? It looks quite good, doesn't it?
Just zooming in there, yeah, it does. The only thing I'd be worried about is Christensen, and just with Silva coming back now.
Yeah,
Aubameyang, he's a risky punt now, but they do have good fixtures now with game week 31 to 38, and they have some nice fixtures there. So yeah, there's a lot of money put into him, and you know that could. Yeah. I suppose it's kind of, you can nearly go Aubameyang to Salah if Aubameyang isn't kind of picking up form or whatever. And I like the Bamford shout, captaincy pick. He's on penalties. Leeds, I can see Leeds scoring at least. I think they're second favourite to score over 2.5 goals this weekend. So yeah, I like that shout in here.
Awesome. Yeah, the Aubameyang situation is, like you said, like if he does not perform like he did against West Ham, like he's an easy ship out for like De Bruyne, Salah, whoever sort of picks up form in that premium midfield role. I'll hop on them ASAP.
Right. So who wants to show their team next?
You can go ahead.
Am I going
saving
first?
the best for last.
We'll save the best till last then.
I won't lie, lads. I made my transfer just right away.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So it has changed a bit since we last showed it, because I did have a 5. I did have a 5 at the back, and I've just gone all attack now and got all of the attackers in. So I've got a 3-5-2 as things stands on my wild card. In goal, I've got Mendy. I think he's very safe for 6 points at least, and I just want to consistently get the 6 points. You know, I don't think his point ceiling isn't the highest like Emi Martinez is going to be, but he's gonna hopefully keep some clean sheets for me going forward. So in the defence, I've currently got Luke Shaw in and Rudiger. I brought them both in for the obvious reasons that Shaw has been fantastic this season. Don't know why I didn't bring him in earlier. And Rudiger, very cheap option into the Chelsea defence. Hopefully he plays over Christensen. If not, Azpilicueta right wing back, Tuchel, please. I've got Stuart Dallas in there still. I'm keeping him in this week, and then the plan is to transfer him out next week for a different defender. In the midfield, the only players I have kept is Rafinha, Fernandes, and Lucas. I did take Lucas out, and I did have Lingard in, but when that Tottenham game got announced in 32, I thought, why not bring Lucas back in? He's their best performing Spurs player at the moment, and I back him to do pretty well over the next couple of weeks. Jota, I've brought in. He looked on fire over the international break, and I'm so glad I brought him in straight away when I put the wild card in. And I've got De Bruyne as well in there, who also looks in very good form over the international break. I'm quite happy with that. And up top, I've got Kane on the captaincy at the moment. I quite like the captaincy pick. I think it's relatively safe as a captaincy option. I mean, I've got a make-up for me absolutely ballsing up the Magic captaincy last week. So, you know, we'll go safe this week.
Now, isn't it?
if we go safe this week, if it works out, it gives me the leeway to you know, do another differential captain next week maybe. And then I've got Calvert-Lewin up front, who's another one that I kept in because I really do like that Palace fixture that he's got. And then on the bench, I've currently got Cresswell, Diaz, Iheanacho, and Forster. So I hope Forster retains his place for Southampton, because a £4 million keeper playing sounds good to me. So yeah, that's the team and how it's looking at the moment. A couple of tough bench options, but yeah, what do we make of that?
I like the Calvert-Lewin pick now. He's kind of gone a small bit under the radar. He's kind of hopping up in some teams I see on Twitter, but I think everyone's kind of hopped off him. I think the last 3 or 4 weeks, but Kane captaincy pick, yeah. I'm on him at the moment as well, but I don't know whether to stay safe or kind of go kind of maverick, not even maverick, but I'm leaning towards Bruno as well with that fixture against Brighton at home. I like the Lucas Moura pick as well. You know, the double game coming up. He's been their best player there the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's he's making runs with the ball, dribbling through whatever. Jota, yeah, I'm probably going to have to next week bring Jota in because I won't have the funds for Salah the week after. All that though as well, everyone's in the same boat, just the bench and headaches. You've got Cresswell on the bench. It's so hard to pick between Cresswell, Dallas, Rudiger, and Shaw. And you know what's going to happen then. The one person you bench, he's going to get a 12-pointer or something. But apart from that, though, no, it's a nice wildcard team. You've got Iheanacho coming in then next week after the City game. So yeah, nice, well balanced.
Yeah, I'm trying to plan in advance and trying to look to hit. I've still got the bench boost chip, so I'm going to try and hit that. Maybe 32. I think could be the way forward because even with the Tottenham double, there's a lot of nice fixtures around there as well. So that's what I'm looking to do. Should we get into your team though, the final one?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Sound. So I've gone with Martinez in goal. Hoping for anyone who follows me on Instagram, I absolutely love Martinez. Hoping for another 10 point swing anyway. And I'm doubling up with Target. All I need is just a clean sheet for Villa. As I was saying earlier on, I need to get rid of Target next week for a Chelsea defender, but just this week it's not worth a -4. Shaw then hoping. I have a feeling Brighton might score against us. But I'm hoping he might get an attack and an assist, or might sneak a cheeky goal or whatever. Cresswell then, Wolves away. It's a tough enough fixture, but again he's on set pieces, corners. You can't bench him. It could end up being 10-12 points along those lines. There could be a 2-pointer. So it's high swing, low swing. Hoping for a 12-pointer. I've just brought in Bruno there. Sorry for Bale. I can't risk. I don't know what Mourinho's mind games are. Is he going to play him? Is he not? And then Bale coming out then saying that he's only using Spurs for a leg up to get back into Madrid. You can't have him in your team if he's talking that kind of crack. But so Bruno in this week. I've stuck the vice captain on him. Lingard then against Wolves, as you were saying earlier on. I'm hoping he keeps his form up. West Ham they're pushing for a Champions League spot. I don't know when were they even in the Champions League. I'm not sure, but him trying to pick up form for the Euros. I'm hoping the last 9 games he's going to finish strong. I think they've only got one tough. Well, obviously Chelsea are in there. So apart from that, now I'm hoping he returns for each other game. Son then. It's good to see him back training anyway. It's in the back of my head that Mourinho might bench him, but I have to play him anyway. He's in the team for me anyway. And then Rafinha and Bamford, 2 Leeds boys. Hoping Rafinha gives me a farewell goal now. I'm looking towards Jota next week. Leeds fixtures up until I think it's 35 or 36. They're tough enough. Yeah, they're tough. They're tough up to then now. Yeah, so hopefully Rafinha might part with a goal, and then we'll bring Jota in, and then Kane captain for now. He's going to be probably the most captain pick this week, so might have to go safe. But Bruno and even Rafinha are looking at me for the armband, but for now it's Kane anyway. And then I've Watkins up top. He's the most frustrating fantasy asset at all this season. I'm hoping with Grealish back now, he's going to stop hitting the bar of the post and actually put it into the net. But yeah, then it's hard to look at Gundogan and Diaz, on the bench. But I can't, Diaz, 1 goal this season, is it? So then I can't play him ahead of Shaw, Target, and Cresswell. Target could even sneak an assist, and if he keeps a clean sheet, then 6 points, top of hopefully 10 for Martinez. That's a 16-point swing. Iheanacho's form, Vardy, Leicester could easily score. So that's the reason anyway of Diaz on the bench.
Yes, that's a great team. I like it all round. I think the Kane sort of situation, I can see his effective ownership easily being over 100% again this week. Like, it's almost guaranteed in my opinion. Yeah, I like Watkins. I think he's going to come back into good form as well, because I think since Grealish was out, he's only had 1 big chance so far. So given that, I think he'll get a lot more chances and therefore maybe score a few more goals, which would be nice for all the Watkins owners.
Yeah, he got his England goal anyway, so hopefully he can bring that form into the Fulham game. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you hope so. It's a very good team. And we'll move on now to the differential pick of the week. Now, this is where we pick someone under 10% owned and tip them to have a good week this week. Now, do any of you have one already prepared and ready?
I do indeed.
Go ahead and tell us, Josh.
Everyone knows about mine. I did a little Insta post earlier this week because I was just so excited. I couldn't hold myself till Friday. So yeah, I said Kai Havertz for me as a little differential this week. Hopefully he does start. Probably not in my luck. Christensen and Havertz won't start tomorrow now, but we'll move. But he's like similarly playing like up front for Chelsea, like he did at Leverkusen. I think that's his best position, where we'll see the most FPL returns for sure from him. He's got a goal and an assist over the international break for Germany. He also has, I think, 12 points in the last 2 games for Chelsea. So he's on a bit of an upward spiral. Hopefully he can continue it. And I think he's just a nice little way to get into that Chelsea attack, because although Chelsea's clean sheets are good, they are still winning games as well. Let's not forget. So there'll be points to have up front as well.
Yeah, I like that one. I'll go with mine as well. I mentioned it on Glenn's channel yesterday, I think it was. I'm going to say Edinson Cavani for my differential pick of the week. 7.8 million, 1.8% owned, and I think he's going to play because Martial's obviously out injured. I think at least for this week, he definitely will. Playing a Brighton team that, good defensively, but how good are they? And I think Cavani can potentially exploit that and be the front man for United for the next couple of weeks. And yeah, we'll see how he does. Very low owned and could pop off with a lot of points. Yeah,
I like that pick. I think there's injury doubts over Greenwood, Martial and Rashford. So Cavani's place in the team is almost assured.
If Cavani goes down for penalties anyway, Bruno can take them. Right. Do you want me to do my pick?
Yeah, go for it, mate. Go for it.
I want to stress differential pick of the week. Just the week. I sound a bit hypocritical, but I'm going to fall into that Twitter bubble of Alonso this week. 2.5% owned. Chelsea have 8 clean sheets in the last 10 Premier League games. He's a great shout if you want to be a bit maverick, if you want to go away from Kane or Rafinha or Bruno for the Ironman this week. And I think just this week alone now, if you're bringing them in, don't be expecting them to start every game after that now, just this week, and then hopefully the early kickoff curse won't affect you either. West Ham will score in the first few minutes of that now, but just for this week, 2.5% ownership. Probably he's about 99% owned on Twitter at the moment, and this week,
Yeah, I love that pick. I think I understand why people are picking him, because his ceiling, it could literally be 20 odd points. So I would hate to see it, to be honest, because Twitter would erupt. But a very good pick this week if you have got him in.
Yeah, I like all the picks that we've come up with there, and we'll take a couple of questions and to round off the stream. So if you've got any questions about FPL, leave them down in the comment section and we'll get around to it. If we don't get round to your question, send it to us on Instagram and we'll get around to everyone. Hopefully by tomorrow before the
11
deadline?
a.m. Yeah.
So Glenn asks, is Saka out, Neto in a good move, or should I save the transfer for next week? I have Saka on my bench, but if I bring in Neto, I'll bench Stones. Good question.
It is a good question. What do you think?
I think it all depends if it's a -4 or if it's a.
It'll be a free one. Glenn doesn't take.
Glenn never takes hits.
Fair. I probably would. Neto, I think Wolves' next four or 5 games is one where I don't know Neto's ownership at the moment now, but he's one that could easily kind of sneak you up the ranks. I haven't seen him in many teams at all now. Saka, can you see? I can't see Arsenal scoring more than 1 maybe against Liverpool. I could be wrong. It could be a 2-2 game, maybe a 3-3 game. It might be high scoring. But no, I can see Leicester sneaking one against City. So if you bring in Neto, you'll be playing him over Stones. So if it's a free transfer, I'd say go for it.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you. Neto looks really good this season. I feel like if he was in a better team, he'd probably get more FPL returns. He's one of those sort of guys. He hasn't really got anyone to finish off what he's creating. But still, I think other than over Saka, for sure, Saka minutes not even guaranteed in that Arsenal team, let alone returns. So yeah, good shout from him.
We got an interesting one here from Lewis, who asked, "Do you start Aubameyang or Aaron Cresswell?" That is a tough question for this week. I think, Josh, you're probably in the best place to answer this, right?
Yeah, I've got both. It's one of those where it could literally swing 20-point difference almost. Like, it's crazy because obviously Aubameyang has got obviously playing up front. It's against Liverpool, who aren't necessarily got the best defence in the world. They have been picking up a few clean sheets as of late. But then same with Cresswell against Wolves. Wolves are not exactly the best attacking team in the world. And also they're pretty decent defensively, West Ham. They're not the worst team. So for me, I find it hard to bench Aubameyang just because he's the attacker. Like, I find that philosophy always works for me. Like, I always will play the attacker over the defender because when you're holding on for a clean sheet, it's just, you don't want to watch that. So if you're watching the games, I'd personally pick Aubameyang. I don't know what you boys think.
It's like that unwritten golden rule in FPL. You always start the attacker, I suppose. Yeah, but as I was saying earlier on, Cresswell, it could be either 2 points or 12 points. And Aubameyang, he'll be on penalties. If Arsenal sneak one, surely he'll be involved. So yeah.
I've just got that feeling that West Ham are going to concede this week. I don't know what it is, but I just think one of
those scrappy.
It's after the international break, and you've got to regain that momentum that they had before. And I can see Georgia's in the chat, so she's not going to be happy about that. But
another Dawson own goal or something. Or
great finish.
Louis is asking about a triple up on Chelsea. Rudiger, Aspi, and Werner. I could see Rudiger and Azpilicueta as good picks, but Werner, are we sure about that one? I'm definitely not sure about that.
I know Tuchel come out there today in his press conference saying that Werner will be starting.
Yeah.
Oh really?
He will be starting tomorrow now. So if it's a punt on Werner just for tomorrow morning, and you're looking at getting rid of him, 2-3 game weeks down the line, possibly, yeah. If everyone's thinking Havertz is going to score, Mount is going to score, then surely Werner is going to be involved as well. It'd be like him, right after that miss, just come out. I think Tuchel said something in his press comments about, if you're chatting up up a bird, and she doesn't like it. something along them lines now, yeah. But I'm going back to that kind of Twitter, Instagram bubble. If people are jumping on Havertz, if they're jumping on Mount as well as attacking options for Chelsea, Tuchel said Werner will definitely be starting tomorrow. Why not punt on it?
It'd be very Timo Werner to have a sitter like that missed and then come back and score.
Yeah,
definitely. I think personally he's a great shout, especially for the next 3 games. It's like you said, if Mount and Havertz are going to be picking up returns, why isn't Werner, who's got the most goals and assists for Chelsea this season in the Premier League? So I think he's a good shout. And yeah, him missing a sitter is surely only going to spur him on. I love Tuchel's press conference. If you haven't seen it, you do need to give it a watch because it's a funny one for sure.
I haven't watched it, so that is definitely something I'll need to have a look at. I don't know. I probably should have watched the press conference, see if any clues about what Chelsea players are playing, but
it's as bad as Guardiola at this stage.
At this point, which manager do you trust? I think the only one I would trust is probably Sean Dyche out of all of them. So we'll move on from there. We'll take 1 or 2 more. Jabir says Pope or Forster. I assume that's starting for this week.
Yeah, they're facing each other.
Yeah. Who do we think are conceding? It's what we've got to think.
Probably Pope. That's a hard one. It's Jesus.
That is an absolute nightmare of a keeper pick. If you've got both of them, that is a tough one.
I don't think there's any right answer at all. You could start Forster, as you said. Then Bernie might get it stupid. Chris Wood off the shoulder goal, something like that. And could be a 0-0 written all over it as well. I'd probably lean towards Pope now. Out of those two, but what do you think, lads? That's a tough one. Jesus.
Flip a coin, mate.
Who's at home? Just
I think Burnley, I want to say.
no, Southampton are at home.
Are they?
Are at home. Yeah, I've just looked.
50-50.
I'll probably go Pope because he's probably got potential to get more save points than Forster.
Yeah, that's
how I'd look at it. I think you could
can see
flip
Pope
a coin anyway. Yeah, it could go either way, couldn't it? Really. I mean, that sort of question, there is no right answer. Just got to go with your gut and hope for the best.
A loop way to it if you can afford Pope to Mendy, hop on that if it's your free transfer.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
We'll take one more question. It'd be rude not to because I see him piping up about this bloke all night long. Kieran asks, DCL Masterclass, is it incoming? Is the haul for DCL due?
It's due, all right. That's for sure. But whether it actually happens...
If he's going to do it against anyone, it's got to be against Crystal Palace, right?
Yeah, I see. If you're even looking at towards it, he's probably a good captain option as well. Kind of going differential compared to Kane, all the kind of main ones. But he's a frustrating fella to own as well. You know, at the start of the season, he was brilliant. He was getting hat-tricks, 2 goals a game, a goal a game, assists. But yeah, if you're having him, if he's in your team and if he's not returning against Palace, you know there's something wrong.
Yeah, I think you had a stat. You read out a stat yesterday, Ben, that Crystal Palace concede the second most aerial chances.
Yeah, I think over the last 4 to 6 game weeks, they've conceded the most aerial chances out of any team. So, can DCL make an impact on that? I kind of want to see him play a bit more centrally because over the past few weeks, I think the problem has been he's been playing a bit too wide for FPL managers' liking, and he's not kind of involved in everything up front. I think he is best when he's playing as that main striker and the main number 9, getting on the end of crosses. So I think if he plays in the position he wants to play, he'll score. If he doesn't, it's very touch and go whether he'll even be involved in the game because he's the sort of player that won't pick up bonus points because he's not involved in the game, but will pop up with like 1 or 2 goals at the end of it. So, let's hope that we can have a DCL masterclass.
I don't.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
So that rounds up another episode of FPL Fridays. Gone by very quickly, and FPL Eire, we've got to thank you again for coming on as a guest. We hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did. It was actually brilliant. It was refreshing. You know, after the 2 weeks of international football, nearly pulling my hair out watching Ireland play. It's good to be back watching Premier League football and not Ireland. But yeah, looking forward to tomorrow's game weekend.
Yeah, indeed. If you haven't already, go check out FPL. All these links should be below. Twitter, Instagram, you name it, he's probably on it. So go give him a follow over there. But yeah, thanks for everyone for watching. If you haven't already, drop us a subscribe, like the video and all that good stuff. And I'll leave Ben to finish it off. Yeah, so as Josh said, quite rightly, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, follow the FPL Graduates on TikTok. We are this close. We're like 40 followers away from 20,000 on TikTok. It is crazy. So if you haven't already, go and follow us over there. That is the next big milestone, isn't it, Josh, that we're aiming for. So yeah, make sure you leave a like on the video. As always, I've been Ben. I've been Josh. And I've been FPL Eire. And we'll see you guys later. Have a good game week, everyone.